All right, folks. So today we're going to take a little break from the house building thing, and we're going to talk about construction in geometry, but in a little bit different way. So what we mean today by construction in geometry is making geometric constructions. If you type in geometric constructions into Google, the first thing you'll get is the Math is Fun site, where it talks about this and has some animations that we're going to look at. And normally we'd be using a compass. Now you may or may not have a compass at home. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Onshape to mimic the use of a compass and a straight edge to draw some geometric constructions. This is going to help you in a couple ways. First, it's going to help you understand Onshape and how it works a little bit better. And it's going to help you with your understanding and visualization of geometric principles in the geometry class. So it kind of kills two birds with one stone. So let's start by going to your Onshape account. As always, make sure your name's up there when you do it, and you're going to go into your folder that you created. So up here it says that you're in your account, in your folder, and you should have two documents in there, one called practice, and we also started the ranch house that we'll get back to soon. Please hit create, and you're going to make another document. Please title this document Geometric Constructions. Okay, so we've got that. Once you do that and you click OK, it's going to send you to a new document. Now, we're going to do some different keystrokes today to be able to save some time. So first of all, let's start by hitting the Shift key, and while you're holding the Shift key down, hit the question mark button, and that's going to bring up some keyboard shortcuts. We're going to use some more of these. I will tell you what I'm using. For example, in Sketch, if I want to draw a line, I don't need to go up and click on the line command. I can just click L. C will draw a circle, for example. There's some different things in here that we'll use. Some I won't, some I will. You might be faster at this than I am. But we're going to use some of them. And you can always bring this back up by hitting Shift and question mark to see that little menu. So for example, I can hit P to hide the primary planes or bring them back. Okay, so I just hit the P to do that. All right, so we're going to start today. We're going to do 7 different images today to turn in. So I hope you're good at taking screenshots. If you're not, I've put a link to how to do that in the assignment. So we're going to, that's my dog, by the way, making that noise. It's not my stomach. So we're going to start by right-clicking on the front plane and make a new sketch. Okay, now, 2 things. I always want to view perpendicular to the plane, so I'm hitting P to get rid of the planes I don't want to see, and N means I'm going to view normal to that plane, meaning I'm going to look directly at it. Now, I don't want to see this origin point either, so I'm going to turn that off. Now, your sketch little window probably showed up in here. Remember, while you're sketching, you have to leave that on. If you get out of it, you're going to have to come back into it. If you do get out of this, don't forget that you should only have one sketch. And if you accidentally, let's say, I'm going to start by drawing a line. Whoops, I didn't mean to make it that short. And let's say you accidentally get out of the sketch. Oops. Okay, and you're not drawing in it. Rather than start a new sketch, just double click, and that will bring you back into working on that sketch. Okay, so let's start by making a line that looks approximately like that. I have no idea how long it is. It doesn't matter. I just want it to take up about that much of my screen. Let's make another line. I'm clicking L to activate it. Escape will always deactivate it. And let's draw this at kind of an angle like that-ish. Okay, remember, escape gets me out of the command. Now I'm going to put a point. I don't know the keystroke for that, so I'm clicking on point and put it somewhere right about here-ish. Okay. Now we're going to do some things with this in just a minute. Escape gets me out of the command. pushing down on your mouse wheel pans while you're holding it down. I don't know how to do that on a pad. Okay, now we're going to make kind of a Venn diagram over here with two circles of approximately the same size. So we're going to come over here somewhere. Now, you'll notice something happens sometimes. If you might have this going on where you hover over something and it creates a dashed yellow line. And what that yellow line is saying is it's lining up whatever I click horizontally with what it's referencing here. So you can actually, if you don't want it to reference, you can hold down the shift key. So if you have these yellow lines showing up and they're bothering you, just hold down the shift key and then they won't show up. Okay, but we're going to click, pull the mouse out. After you click again to set that circle. Now we're going to put another one approximately, I don't know, a little bit out from that. Yeah, maybe about that far-ish. Click and pull. And so you have two circles of similar size that are intersecting. So like it looks like a Venn diagram. Escape gets me out of the command. Now you can always push down on your mouse wheel on a center and kind of move this circle around so it looks more like what you want it to look like. Now, let's go ahead and make another line going through this circle between the other circle and this point. So we're going to click outside, right through, don't go straight, go at an angle like this, and we'll click again. So we have a line going about like that. And finally, let's draw a line down here that's bigger than these two, about like that-ish. And the last thing we're going to do, this one's going to be a little bit more interesting, is up here is arcs. Now there's circles and then there's arcs, and there's different types of arcs. We want to do a center point arc. We're going to click center point arc, click so that you're hooked onto the end of the line, click, and a big old circle is going to show up. Now that circle is showing you where you can draw an arc. So down here, go ahead and drop down below this line a little bit. Don't go straight, go off at an angle a little bit. Now see how that yellow line shows up? I'm not worried if it does that or not, but I don't want anything lined up. So if that starts happening, I can hit escape or shift, sorry, hit shift to make it go away. Now we're going to click once, pull the mouse around, and click again, click. And that's going to make an arc that has this as its center point. Do the same thing over here again. Click on that end of the line, click over here, sweep it around, click over there. All right. So this is going to be your before picture. Please take an image of that. And forgot something. Before we take that picture of this, please come up here to your toolbar and find the text tab. And just above this stuff, we're going to click text and drag a box by clicking a little bit above, click, drag, and make a box, I don't know, about that size-ish. Click again, and now we're going to type in your first initial and last name. Please don't type Joe Cougar. That's my fictitious student. Now you have your name up there. Now, please take a picture of this. I'm zooming so it is right. Take an image of what we see. This is going to be your before picture of practicing this stuff, and then we're going to take an after picture. So take a picture of this, put it in the assignment, and then we're going to alter it. Okay, here we go for the after picture. So let's talk about, I'm going to zoom in just to this little part right here. So one of the things that we can do is we want to keep things from moving around. So right now, this line, when we made it, is horizontal. So if I hover over it, that little dash shows up, which means it's showing us that that is a horizontal line. So if I grab the end of it and move it around, it's going to stay horizontal, even though I can change the length of it. This other line at an angle is not horizontal, so I can grab it and actually change the angle and or change the length. Okay. Now, this is a problem because if we're using a pencil and we draw on paper and we draw a line, it's not going to suddenly move on the paper, right? So sometimes we have to hold things in place. So the way we can do that is up here when you're in this toolbar right here is a bunch of different things we can do, one of which is called fix. Fixing holds something in place. So let me show you kind of how this works. Start by clicking fix, and we're going to let's fix the end point of this angled line up here and click on the end point. Don't click on the line, click on the end point. And notice that it turns it black. Black means that it is fixed in place. So now that point, I'm going to hit escape to get out of the command. I can't move it. It won't move. Now the line will move around that point, or I can change the length of it, but the point is stuck. Now, I can fix the line itself in place by clicking again fix and click the entire line, and now that line's angle stays in place and its location at this point stays in place, but I can still change, notice this point's blue, so I can still change the length of the line. So if I fix the other point, I can say, okay, fix this end also, and now the whole thing is locked down. Now let's also fix this point in place. Click, turns black. And now let's say I want this line and to go through that point. What we can do is use what's called a coincident constraint. So up here is coincident. Coincident means I'm going to have those things share that point. So we're going to click coincident. Click the line. Do not click the point. If I click the point, it will lock the 2 points together. I just want to click the line. Click. Okay, and now I'm going to click the point, and watch the line will move to go through that point. Okay. One last thing we're going to do here is if I want to draw a line that goes to that intersection, draw a line, I can't lock it to those 2 points. Oh, I take it back. You can if you have them both showing at the same time. So line, if they're both highlighted, it will lock to the intersection of that point. If you're having a hard time doing that, we can also put a point at those intersections by when they're both highlighted and then create a line. So go ahead and do that. Now we're going to leave this line blue so it can be moved around. All right, now let's come over here to our Venn diagram. And one of the things we're going to have to do a lot later is we're going to have to make arcs equal in size to each other in terms of their radius. So up here with your tools again is equal. Please click equal. And what we're going to do is we're going to make these 2 circles equal to each other. That circle equal to that circle. And notice one changed size a little bit in order to become equal to each other in size. Now we are going to make sure that they're lined up. So we're going to use another thing called horizontal to say that I want this point and this point to be lined up horizontal to each other. Now you probably saw it move just a little bit. Okay. Now let's go ahead and fix those circles in place by clicking fix. Click on the circle, not the center point. The center point will mean, although because I made them equal to each other, I could still just change the size. So let's click on that and click on that. Okay, and it fixes those in place. Now let's put points on these intersections so that we can use that intersection to draw with. So I'm going to choose point, and when those are highlighted, click point. When both of them have to be highlighted, click point again, And now we're going to have this line go through these points by hitting coincident and say I want the line coincident to the point. And again, the line coincident to the point. If something goes wrong, just hit escape, hit undo, okay? And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to fix that line in place and its endpoints, okay, so that it's not going anywhere. And we're going to make these two arcs equal in length to each other, or equal in radius to each other. So use the equal. We're going to click on this and on that. One of them should move a little bit. There we go. So now the radius is the same. Notice they stay blue. I can change where they are, but notice they will both stay with the same radius. Okay. All right. So here is our after picture. Go ahead and take an image of this as your after picture. And once you've got your screenshot, let's go ahead and finish the sketch and go ahead and rename this part studio that you created as, just call it GC, as in Geometric Constructions Practice. And then we will have some others with that also. All right, so let's start on our geometric constructions. There's going to be 5 of them today. So here we go. Click on Insert New Element, and we're going to create Part Studio. Let's go ahead and before we even get going, let's rename this Part Studio as GC1. GC1, which is going to be just copying a line segment. All right, we're going to sketch on the front plane. P hides planes and gets us perpendicular to it. And let's turn off the origin in general. So this first one is going to be pretty simple. It's going to be copying the length of a line segment. So we're going to come up here to line. I don't know why origin still shows up sometimes. Just random straight line anywhere you want. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy this line. But first, we've got to fix the line in place. So we're going to fix. And if we click on the 2 endpoints, it will fix that line in place. All right. Now, what we're going to do, now we can make another line that's equal, but that's kind of cheating. That's not really what the point is. The point is using a compass every time. So if we look at our geometric constructions for copying a line segment, it's pretty basic. We set our compass, we draw an arc, and we then have a similar line segment. Okay, but we're not going to be able to mimic the compass. We're going to have to do that after. We're going to have to make those equal afterwards. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw our center point arc, click on one end of the line, come out here. Now, while that is yellow, actually I take that back. I want to, while out beyond the line, we're going to click here and drag and click over to there. So again, I'm going to go over that one more time. Click undo. My center point arc, not 3-point arc. Click on one end of the line, come beyond the line. Make sure nothing yellow is showing up. Click, pull, click. Okay, and now we're going to use our coincident constraint up here to say I want this arc to be coincident with that point. Okay, now we're going to draw a line down below, but we're doing it a little bit backwards here. Let's go ahead and put a point just somewhere random, not lined up with anything. Click to place that point and then fix that point in place. Fix, click. Now we're going to draw an arc. Now it's kind of weird. We'd set our compass this way and then draw it this way. We're drawing it and then setting it. So it's a little different, but we're going to again use our center point arc, click on this end, come out here, and make a similar to kind of to what you see over here. Click, pull, click. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to set these two arcs equal to each other. Unlike a compass, which we set first, we're setting them second. So equal, and we're going to click on this arc and that arc. And that will make them both have the same radius. Now we can finally draw our line from this point to that arc and hit escape to end, and we have created two equal line segments. Now, every one of these, we're going to go up here to the text box, draw a box, and put in your name. Except let's capitalize proper nouns, shall we? All right, so we're going to do that. And this time, before you take the picture, go ahead and finish the sketch so that it looks like this. Take an image of that, put it in the assignment. All right, let's start another one. We're going to click on our insert. We're going to create a new part studio, and let's rename this part studio as GC2. Now this one is going to be to find the midpoint of a line. Now we're going to kind of do two things here at the same time. So we're going to again sketch in the front, new sketch, P to hide planes, end to view normal. Okay, turn off the origin point, and we are now going to draw just a random line, horizontal line like this. Let's fix the ends, fix the endpoints to make it all black, to meaning that it's fixed in place. And what we're going to do is we're going to find the midpoint of that line. Now here's how to do that. We're going to create a center point arc, and we're going to click on one end of the line and go beyond halfway. So it's kind of important that we're going to click, make sure that circle is obviously beyond. Now look, it's going to line us up to the midpoint, but let's not cheat with that, okay? And we're going to go way up here, click, and way down here, click, and you'll see why in a minute. Now we're going to do another one. I'm still in that same command. Click on this end, and we're going to click here and here. Now guess what we're going to do? We're going to set those two equal to each other, right? So equal. I'm going to make this arc and this arc equal in length to each other. Now, making a perpendicular bisector, which is two things. And so I guess we're going to only do, I said we were going to do 5, we'll do 4, because this does two things. So we're going to draw a line from this intersection to this intersection. Now, this one's not showing up. That's because the line is automatically being vertical. So as long as it's going to that point, we're okay. Click. The other option, I'll hit undo here, is that we could put a point at that intersection and that intersection, and then draw our line from that point to that point. Now what we've done is we've created a midpoint and found the midpoint of the section and created a perpendicular bisector, meaning it's cutting this line in half perpendicularly. All right, let's put our name out there somewhere. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's do that and turn that guy in. I keep not capitalizing my fake student's last name. Cool. Finish your sketch. Take an image of that and turn that in. Now I know it's got a grayed out area because that could be extruded. All right, let's do our GC3. New, create part studio, rename it GC3, and do our normal thing. Let's sketch in the front plane. P hides the planes and gets us view normal. Turn off the origin. All right, our next one is going to be drawing a perpendicular line to it through a point on a line. So let's draw our line. Just a horizontal line, fix our ends so that they're not moving around. Let's put a point somewhere on that line, not anywhere at the ends or the middle. So if you hover around, that midpoint shows up. I don't want that. Just go ahead and put it somewhere, maybe a third of the way along the line. And let's go ahead and fix that point in place. All right, now that we've got a point on a line, let's go just kind of do a visual of how to do that. So we're going to go to a perpendicular to a point on a line. All right, so we're going to start by marking an arc on each side that are equal. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, one of the things we could just do is let's go here and we'll do another center point arc over here. Now you'll notice that if you hover over that, you can get pretty close, but we don't want it to be close. We want it to be perfect. So we're going to click there and there. And now we're going to make those two arcs equal to each other. Click and click. Okay. One will probably move just a little bit. All right, let's see what we do next. So now that we've got those, notice we're going setting the compass just a little farther than it was and drawing that line. So here's how we can do this here. Is we're going to use our arc and we're going to, when those two things are highlighted, it will do the intersection. Okay, and we're going to go a little bit beyond it. Notice I'm on the right side of that mark when I start and the left side when I finish. We're going to do another one. Click when both of those are highlighted. Let's make this a different way on this side. Put a point where they intersect. Click. If you want to do it that way, is fine. Center point arc at the intersection. And again, we're going to go start on one side and end on the other side. Guess what we're going to do to those two arcs? We're going to make them equal to each other, right? That arc and that arc equal to each other. Finally, let's put a point where they intersect and draw our line from one point to the other. As always, our name's going to go in a text box. I cannot get Cougar right and Joe Cougar every time I spell it. Cool. Finish sketch. Take our picture of that. And let's go to the last one, which is we're going to do a perpendicular to a point that is not on the line. Last one. Insert new element. Let's create a part studio. We're going to call this GC4. Rename. All right. Sketch in the front. P hides planes. N gets me viewing normal. Turn off my origin. All right. Let's create a line. Fix the endpoints. I'm going faster because you know what you're doing now. Let's place a point somewhere outside of this line like that. And let's fix that point in place too. All right, so we've got something that looks like this. Now let's go to our visual here. Perpendicular, where are we? Perpendicular to a point not on a line. Let's watch what happens. We're going to just draw. Okay, we can do that. Let's cheat a little bit and just use one arc this time. So we're going to create an arc. Boom, that way we don't have to even set it equal to each other. We'll just start over here and go over here. All right. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick so that it doesn't have this shaded area. Click on this line and make it construction line. What that means is that just that the program won't see it as an edge, but you can still use it. Okay, we'll be doing that possibly later on. So just again, what I did was click on the line or on the arc, and up here is a thing to change it to a construction line. Click on that. All right, and then hit escape to get you out of that command. All right, let's watch what we do next. All right, so we're going to go a little farther, and that's equal. And now we have a perpendicular to a line through a point. So we are now going to go from this intersection. Pick, and remember, we have to be both outside of where that point is and then inside of where that point is. And the same thing from this intersection. Again, I'm making a center point arc. From now, I don't want, if those yellow lines show up, I don't want that. So make sure it's not doing that, or that you hit shift to make it not have those references show up. If I do this right now with that showing up, what it's going to do is it's going to take that arc and it's going to make it always vertical, those points vertical to each other. And I don't want that way. So we're going to do this, click, and finally, we will now make those equal to each other. Equal that to that. And now we can draw our line from our point to our intersection, or we could go the other way. I just hit escape, line from the intersection to the point. And we have a perpendicular to a line through a point that is off of the point. Name. Let's see if I can actually do it right this time. Woohoo! All right. And finish sketch. Take your screenshot. Turn that puppy in. Congratulations, you have finished with the first of our geometric constructions. See you next time.